holiday feasting. I don't know, what would you call it?
Yeah.
Literally
Feasting.
like
Navigating
plate
the
full of
holiday
food and then just shoving it.
Yeah. We take 3.
This is never gonna get done.
Hi, I'm Christy Flynn.
And I'm Maurine.
And we are here today to kind of help all of you out with a topic that is something asked of me a lot, which is how to navigate the holiday feasts, the different get-togethers that have to deal with food, revolve around food. Like, how do you navigate that? And we're just gonna have a little discussion and be able to maybe bring to light some things, some tips that might help you out. So, Maurine, you're kind of relatively new.
Very new.
To the wellness way.
And the lifestyle, yep, and eating. And we just recently got Ashton's food allergies back.
Okay.
And we already knew he had a sensitivity to milk as a baby.
Yeah.
And then we switched to soy, which,
right,
bad. But now he's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna cut out milk and all this stuff. And then we're trying to convince him to realize that it's in other things that he likes to eat.
Yeah, it's hidden in a lot of things. And that's actually one of the reasons why you as a parent, especially if you're dealing with kids that have food allergies, I mean, it's bad enough when we have to deal with it, but when it's your kids and you know the reactions that they can have, you need to be proactive. And there's a great tips that we have to be able to be proactive so that you can enjoy, everybody can enjoy, including the kids, the foods that you're eating, the time that you're having, gathering together with family and friends. So one of the first things, like, because I've been doing, okay, so on the crunchy scale, we have been doing this a long time. My oldest is 15, so that was about the time that we started our crunchy. I guess I don't like using the word crunchy. It's like our health journey, you know. Everybody's journey is different, so we started, and exactly that. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody has different allergies they have to look at. There's different degrees of what you have to replace out, what you have to avoid. So now you had said dairy allergy.
Dairy, which we love mashed potatoes.
Doesn't everybody?
With butter and milk
and cheese.
And sour
we live
cream.
in Wisconsin, like.
And cheese. Yeah, cheese is on his.
Yeah.
With casein. So
yes.
Yeah. Who loves loaded baked potatoes?
Yes. Yep. Yes. So now, have you already experimented and made it?
We actually, he just got them back yesterday, so we did, and I questioned, what can I substitute? Can we use ghee? So we put, and he was, I think, because it looked different, and he was like, I don't want to eat my potatoes. And I was like, you gotta eat it. And then his plate was clean.
There you go. So it's about getting them to try. So my first step that I always do is before the holidays. So the holidays are coming. The different places you're possibly going to be going, because each environment is a little different. Grandma's is different than auntie's, and the kids at school. They have their school parties, and all these kind of things. So talk to your kid. Talk to your child, and explain to them, remind them how they feel now. I don't know if he's gone without and then ate it and knows how he feels. Does he know?
It's for the longest time he is always snotty, like stuffed up, congested. Like when he wakes up in the morning, puffy eyes. And I always was like, we're gonna get your food allergies tested, and it's gonna be milk. It's gonna be dairy.
You just knew.
Yep. Yeah. And he also has like the little bit of, I don't want to say acne, but like weird little bumps.
The bumps.
Little kind of rash. And I was like, just give it, let's say 3 months. We're gonna try our best to stay on board and see how you feel.
Absolutely.
Because everybody was like, oh no, it's seasonal allergies. And I'm like, but it doesn't go with the seasons.
Right.
At all. Like he could be snotty in the fall, and then like this fall, now he's still going into Christmas still. And it's
right. So now pulling those away,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see
how this all.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. It's so fun. But getting back to, then you have to plan. So you have to figure out now when you're going to certain places. So what I do is I talk to the kids ahead of time. I remind them. Like for my kids, upset tummy, headaches, like they fall asleep. There's, like they'll be perfectly wide awake and then all of a sudden they're no energy whatsoever. They're crabby. See, people can say, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not really affecting them. Really? This is our kids. We know how the foods are affecting them. And we're the ones that, yes, they can go somewhere and they can eat this and think, oh, it's just once. It's not going to hurt them. And then they come home and we have to deal with, they're
all night.
projectile vomiting, they're in the toilet, they're headaches and dealing with all that. And so coming up with a plan of saying, hey, okay, so especially when they're older, even my little one, my 5-year-old, she knows, oh, it gives me a tummy ache. She does not like to have a tummy ache. So if I explain to her, okay, so we're going to stay away from these things that you can't have, and mommy's going to make sure that there's things that you can eat. So having that discussion about what you can and can't have is really important, so they recognize and know, hey, make sure to ask mommy first if you can have it. Like getting them, and when they're older, this is kind of one of those accountability things. My older ones, they just know. They know what they can and can't have. So talking to your kids ahead of time is a great way to just set the stage and make sure that they feel good about that they know they're going to be able to eat something. So if there are going to be cookies and things, that you can bring something with you or plan ahead with it. The next thing is talking to the host. So.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yes, adversity. This is probably the number one area that you're going to experience adversity, is going back, so for years and years, you've all eat the same. And then you get stuff is wrong, you get your food allergy test, and suddenly you're like, oh, I gotta avoid all these things, and now that changes what it looks like when you go to other people's houses. But it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be something that causes drama or stress. And this is one of the things that I think can alleviate it, is talking ahead of time. So you can kind of find out what is their menu. So you ask, like, okay, what are you planning to have? And depending on the allergy, you can already start in your head or start writing down, like, okay, they could do this, they could do that. Now, if you've got like allergies to like pepper, that was a big one.
That's Maurine.
Pepper, it's in everything. Yes. So something you could tell the host would be, okay, so we can have this, and this, like potatoes and turkey or whatever, but can you not put pepper on? Can you pepper it after?
Yeah.
So I would always tell my mom as an example, because I had a pepper allergy and there was a dairy allergy and egg, all kinds of stuff. But so I would have her make the potatoes and like make the beans and different things and set aside a portion for us before seasoning it, before putting the cheese on, before, adding like some of these ingredients that we can't have. So set aside a portion, don't even worry about it. I'll come with my seasonings, what I can do, and do that. And that way, it's about being able to say, I don't want to put any burden on you as the host.
That's true.
I
think it makes it more receptible to that person to accept that.
You would be surprised though. I've done this, as I said, for many years, and there are some people who get offended, and this is not about trying to offend somebody, but unfortunately, that's what happens. Sometimes they feel offended that, let's say you just feel more comfortable bringing your own food, or to be able to say, okay, can you do this, and I'll just finish it, when I get there. The whole idea is you don't want them to be offended. That's not the intent. So if you communicate to the host and just say, please don't take any offense to the fact that, for our particular allergies, I'm just going to bring this and this. And if you could make that without seasoning, set aside a little portion and then I'll come and season it. Usually that's what I feel has worked, because I've gotten good reception. You're trying to make it as easy as possible. This is a very stressful time for some people.
Well, and especially when Thanksgiving is like an all-day meal prep. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It makes sense that somebody would feel offended. I spent all day in the
right,
kitchen.
and to let them know, it's not that we don't want to eat your food. It's we want to enjoy your company. This is more about.
That's what Dawn said. She's like, it's not about the food, it's about the people.
Yeah, exactly. She's very wise.
Yeah, she is.
So that's definitely talking to the host ahead of time. And sometimes when you talk to them, they'll say, well, hey, can I make something, like, can you give me a recipe that I can use? And so if there's something that like, for instance, you can't do stuffing, but they're open and willing to try something different, to be able to, because the recipes that we're using, they might be not having certain allergens, but it doesn't mean they don't taste good. They don't lack on flavor. They're just different. They're thinking outside of the box. Like, for instance, like stuffing and using rice instead of breadcrumbs. So, doing a stuffing that has rice as the main thing, and adding, cranberries and other, like, sausage or whatever.
Yeah.
There's lots of recipes on Google, but
I bet you there's a lot of different variations of stuffing too.
oh, completely.
So,
yeah. So just getting creative. But if they offer and they say, well, I would like to make, I want it, like if they love to cook, you don't want to take that away from them. So say, well, I have a recipe if you want me to get you that recipe. And then if you make that, then we all can enjoy it. Great, awesome, everybody's happy. It's
works.
Definitely something else that you can do. And I mean, it's one less thing if you were planning on bringing it anyway and they want to bring it, then you can bring something else. So the next thing I'm going to say is, I kind of alluded to bringing your own food. So I imagine that for yourself, you've already changed food allergies or foods
for
because
the most
of food
part,
allergies.
Yeah, for me, and then even my husband, we were the first two that we did our food allergies, and now the Ashton begged. So
okay. Oh,
he
wow.
was, he really wanted his food allergies tested, but then, so now it's going to be a real big shift because now we all eat something different. But I try my best to follow it, but potatoes is hard. It really is. I love potatoes.
That's why we have Obesia.
So I take it every day.
So you've went to different family functions, I'm assuming. So would you bring some of your own things, or how did you?
If a given, I always I'll just eat a little bit, because if I see it, I'm done.
Yeah.
And the smell is just like, and everybody else is eating.
I know.
It's so hard.
It is hard.
But I think now that I have to lead by example, now I really have to push, because I can't monkey see, monkey do. So if I'm not following it, Ashton's probably gonna be like, well,
right.
because he already had I can't have ice cream. No, can't have ice cream.
Can't have any of the nut milk ice creams?
Well, those you could, but anything that we had, previously.
Previous, right.
Yeah, ice cream sandwiches.
See, once
So we gotta
he
switch it.
realizes that there's alternatives, that's
we
gonna
did
be
the coconut ones, and those were a hit. That they actually were like, these are way better than the Blue Bunny or whatever we get.
Okay.
So that one was,
It's an eye opener when all of a sudden, and even when you take, current recipes and you start converting, and they're like, oh, I can still have this. It tastes just a little different, maybe, but they're like, you have to, in certain things, like when it comes to the sweets or something, be the one that I'm going to bring it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're the one bringing it, you're thinking, okay, only my family's going to eat it.
No, everybody's gonna eat it.
Everyone's going to eat it because they realize how much it tastes so good, especially if you don't tell them. Like that it's missing things,
Yes.
or if you
Or
don't
if it's
tell them
something
it's
different.
gluten-free, or you don't tell them, you just kind of say, oh yeah, try it. And they try it and they think, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then you tell them after and you just say, yeah, so we can't have these things, but see, it tastes good, doesn't it? It's eye-opening, I think, to people.
Yeah, definitely.
That
The big switch for us with eggs, because we were eating, just regular, the 99-cent, the cheapest eggs you can get in the store. We actually did the taste test.
Oh, you did?
So
How
we went
fun.
and bought the organic eggs, and we cooked them up, and I put a toothpick in whichever one was, organic or whatever. I didn't tell them, so that when they ate it, and they were like, we really like this one. Not that one's terrible.
Wow,
really
that's
huge.
amazing.
And that was our big switch to organic eggs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The only advice I have to give lastly, this is kind of like the last little tidbit. If you or your children have an IgE allergy, something that's more life-threatening, something that you really can't do, or if you have celiac and you can't do any cross-contamination, that is one of those situations where I unless the host is comfortable with keeping things, or you trust them completely with keeping things from cross-contaminating, I would be the one saying, I'll make some food and I will bring it. And really, it's making life a whole lot easier for the host, because then they don't feel like, oh no, this like big burden and stress. Like, what if,
What if they didn't know?
Yeah.
Then you'd feel really bad.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the, if you know it's a really more serious, IgE allergies are more serious, that kind of thing, I would definitely, as a parent, I would be making some things. I would still call the host and make sure that they understand, hey, we're doing this, and bring enough for everybody to be able to, bring some dessert dishes and different things to have people try and stuff. But but that way you can kind of navigate and still be a part of all these family functions and not feel left. The kids don't feel left out. You don't feel left out. You're still there for the people.
Yeah.
You're there for the gathering, and you're not going to let food get in the way of that.
Right. Especially when the holidays are pretty much food and family.
It's food and family. That's what it surrounds itself around. So making it safe and healthy for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Stay on board.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.